Here are the 5 supplements that I think every person with ADHD should take. And the reason why I say this is because this is something I've been doing for years, working with a lot of patients and clients with ADHD. And after running extensive tests with lots of clients over the years, these are the ones that I find that I tend to recommend the most and seem to be the most effective, just average across the board. And also with a lot of research evidence behind backing up a lot of these different types of supplements that a lot of people with ADHD tend to actually need because they tend to be very deficient. The very first one that I would say is L-phenylalanine, because L-phenylalanine is actually an amino acid that helps build tyrosine, and then tyrosine actually helps build L-dopa. Then L-dopa helps build actually dopamine levels, which a lot of people with ADHD tend to have low dopamine. But what I find that's actually more interesting is that people actually have more low levels of PEA, which is the very beginning actually step of the dopamine neurotransmitter pathway. So if your PEA levels are low, that is going to make it very difficult for building tyrosine and dopamine. And so therefore I actually find that PEA levels tend to be actually low, more so than I actually do see dopamine levels. The second one that I think every person with ADHD should actually be taking, and it's something that I find that I do recommend all the time when I run these tests, is B vitamin. In fact, doing a B complex is a good thing because B vitamins are really critical for a lot of the different neurotransmitter pathways to help build and modulate a lot of these different neurotransmitters, such as dopamine, norepinephrine, and actually even serotonin. And I do find, and even research has backed this up, where people with ADHD have a tendency to be low and deficient in lots of different B vitamins, and taking an activated form of a lot of these different B vitamins, such as vitamin B6 and vitamin B12, can make a great impact to your ADHD health. The third one, I love this one, and it is L-theanine. What I love about L-theanine is L-theanine can both help if you have elevated levels of dopamine as well as if you have low levels of dopamine. Same with also serotonin and norepinephrine and so many other different neurotransmitters. So it's great whether you're high or low, and it's a good modulator. The other thing I love about L-theanine is that people with ADHD tend to have anxiety, and so therefore L-theanine is a great way to help, because L-theanine actually helps relax the body, so it can help with stress and anxiety for people with ADHD without sedative effects. If anxiety is making it so that it's very hard for you to focus, L-theanine is a great one to use. Now, if you want my whole extensive list of my ADHD health guide of all the different supplements, foods to implement, foods to avoid, and testing to do, then download my free ADHD guide in the description below. Now, the fourth supplement that I would recommend to pretty much every person that I've worked with ADHD is actually a pancreatic enzyme. And let me explain why. Because a lot of people with ADHD actually deal with a lot of digestive issues. And in fact, about 90 to 95% of our neurotransmitters, so our brain chemistry, is actually made in the gut. A lot of people don't realize this. So if your gut is not working optimally, then your brain is not going to work optimally as well. So why do I actually suggest something like a pancreatic enzymes? Pancreatic enzymes is something that's produced from the pancreas and producing actual enzymes for our macronutrients, so our proteins, fats, and carbs. And so if those are not being broken down properly, guess what? It's not going to feed the body. It's not going to feed the brain. So therefore, it always will start with the gut to be able to addressing that. And as we get older, especially adults with ADHD, our pancreas doesn't work as optimally, so therefore it's not going to produce enough of the pancreatic enzymes that we typically need. And so I tend to always usually actually recommend pancreatic enzymes to a lot of my ADHD patients that I work with. Now, the fifth supplement that I recommend to pretty much every person with ADHD is magnesium. And the reason I say this is because it's backed up by a lot of research. People with ADHD have a tendency to be deficient in magnesium than the average person. But to take this a step further, magnesium is a very critical electrolyte that is not only really good for a lot of our cells and the processes, it is used so much through so many different mechanisms throughout our body, and especially our brain, and also especially the neurotransmitters that we're trying to build to help improve dopamine levels and norepinephrine and so on, that us people with ADHD tend to suffer with. So not only is it great for those things, but also magnesium is really helpful for helping for people that suffer with sleep issues, and people with ADHD tend to actually have issues with sleep. So taking a good amount of magnesium at night can help get good quality sleep, which can help with your ADHD health. Now, if you're someone that truly is suffering with ADHD and you've tried different supplements and haven't really been able to figure out why you have these problems, well, it's probably because you really need to identify the root cause of the problem, the root of your own symptoms that you're experiencing. So you should watch this video next, where I dive in deep of identifying the root cause of your ADHD symptoms and what to do about it. So I'll see you in that next video.